In the summer of 2008, as Google was cementing its dominance over internet search, a new challenger emerged with the audacious claim that it could do better. Cuil, pronounced Cool, was founded by 4 former Google employees who promised to revolutionize search with a larger index, better privacy, and more relevant results. The company's name came from Irish mythology, referencing a realm where normal rules didn't apply. As it turned out, this mythological reference would prove more prophetic than anyone anticipated. Within hours of its July 28, 2008 launch, Cuil became an internet phenomenon, but not for the reasons its founders had hoped. Instead of delivering the Google killer they promised, Cuil produced search results so bizarre, so disconnected from reality, that they spawned their own meme and became the stuff of internet legend. The story of Cuil begins with impressive credentials and astronomical expectations. The founding team read like a who's who of search engine expertise. Anna Patterson, the company's chief technology officer, had previously developed Google, which helped Google scale to handle billions of web pages. Tom Costello, the CEO, was a former IBM executive who had worked on search technologies for decades. Monier had created AltaVista, one of the first major search engines, and Russell Power brought additional Google search experience to the team. Together, they raised an astounding $33 million in funding from prestigious venture capital firms including Greylock Partners and Madrone Capital Partners. The investment was one of the largest Series A rounds in Silicon Valley history at the time, reflecting the enormous confidence investors had in the team's ability to challenge Google's search monopoly. Cuil's ambitious promises were as grand as its funding round. The company claimed to have indexed 120 billion web pages, making it 3 times larger than Google's index. They promised to deliver search results without tracking users or storing personal information, positioning themselves as the privacy-conscious alternative to Google's increasingly invasive data collection practices. The search engine was designed to present results in a magazine-style layout with multiple columns and rich visual elements, moving beyond Google's simple list format. Patterson and her team developed what they called relevance algorithms that would supposedly understand context and meaning better than Google's PageRank system. They claimed their technology could process natural language queries more effectively and deliver more accurate results by analyzing the actual content of web pages rather than just their link relationships. The launch day disaster began almost immediately after Cuil went live. Within minutes of the announcement, the search engine was overwhelmed by curious users eager to test the Google alternative. The servers, despite the company's claims of robust infrastructure, began buckling under the load. But the traffic problems were just the beginning of Cuil's troubles. Users quickly discovered that the search results were not just irrelevant, they were often completely absurd. Searching for Cuil itself returned results about carpet cleaning services and random product listings. Queries for well-known celebrities produced photos of entirely different people, while searches for common terms yielded pages that seemed to have no connection whatsoever to the search terms. The promised magazine-style layout frequently displayed broken images and malformed text, creating a visual experience that was more chaotic than elegant. The bizarre nature of Cuil's search results quickly captured the internet's attention in ways the founders never intended. Users began sharing screenshots of particularly ridiculous results across forums, blogs, and early social media platforms. One famous example involved searching for hamburger, which returned an article about hamburgers but displayed a photo of a woman's face. Another user searched for their own name and found results claiming they were a 19th century railroad baron who had died decades before they were born. The disconnect between search terms and results was so severe that users began to wonder if the search engine was randomly generating content. Tech bloggers and journalists flocked to document the chaos, turning Cuil into a viral sensation for all the wrong reasons. The website TechCrunch called it the most hyped search engine launch in history, and noted that the results were often completely irrelevant. As users continued to experiment with Cuil, the absurdity reached legendary proportions. The search engine seemed to exist in an alternate reality where facts were fluid and logic was optional. Searching for Barack Obama during the 2008 presidential campaign returned results about various other people, including at one point a photo of a random businessman from Cleveland. Queries about historical events produced anachronistic results that placed modern technology in ancient times. The search for World War II once returned an article about smartphone apps, while iPhone generated results about medieval farming techniques. The image results were particularly surreal, often showing pictures that had no conceivable relationship to the search terms. These bizarre outcomes weren't occasional glitches, they were the norm, making Cuil less of a search engine and more of a surrealist art project. The technical failures behind Cuil's disastrous results revealed fundamental problems with the company's approach to search indexing and retrieval. Despite claims of having indexed 120 billion web pages, the search engine appeared to have significant problems with data quality and organization. The algorithms designed to match queries with relevant content were clearly malfunctioning, but the exact nature of the problems was never fully explained by the company. Industry experts speculated that Cuil's aggressive crawling and indexing had resulted in a massive database filled with duplicated, corrupted, or misassociated content. The image matching system seemed to randomly assign pictures to articles, creating the surreal visual disconnects that became Cuil's trademark. The natural language processing that was supposed to understand context better than Google appeared to be actively misinterpreting queries, returning results that were not just irrelevant but often completely opposite to what users were seeking. The internet community's response to Cuil's failures was swift and merciless, but also creative and entertaining. The search engine's bizarre results spawned a new form of internet humor based on nonsensical, reality-bending scenarios. Users began creating fictional Cuil theory stories that mimicked the search engine's disconnected logic, where normal cause and effect relationships broke down and absurd outcomes were presented as fact. These stories featured impossible scenarios where everyday objects transformed into unrelated items, where people existed in multiple time periods simultaneously, and where basic physics ceased to function. The Cuil meme grew beyond simple screenshots of bad search results to become a recognized form of absurdist internet fiction. Forums dedicated to Cuil theory emerged, where users competed to create the most surreal and logically impossible scenarios inspired by the search engine's broken algorithms. Behind the internet mockery, Cuil's failure represented a cautionary tale about the enormous technical challenges of building a search engine capable of competing with Google. The company had underestimated not just the computational resources required to index and search billions of web pages, but also the sophisticated algorithms needed to deliver relevant results. Google's PageRank system, while not perfect, had been refined through years of iteration and billions of user queries. Cuil's attempt to leapfrog this development with an entirely new approach proved disastrously premature. The company's claims about having a larger index than Google were also called into question, as many searches failed to return basic information that was readily available through other search engines. Industry analysts noted that having more web pages in an index was meaningless if the search engine couldn't effectively organize and retrieve that information. The end came quickly for the search engine that had promised to revolutionize internet search. Despite attempts to fix the most egregious problems with search relevance and site stability, Cuil never recovered from its catastrophic launch. Traffic plummeted as users abandoned the service and returned to Google, armed with amusing stories about their brief adventures in Cuil's alternate reality. The company burned through its $33 million funding round attempting to rebuild its technology and salvage its reputation, but the damage was irreversible. By 2010, just 2 years after its launch, Cuil quietly shut down, with the company's assets eventually sold to other search technology firms. The website was replaced with a simple message thanking users for their support, bringing an end to one of the most spectacular product launches in internet history. Today, Cuil serves as a reminder that in the world of search engines, ambitious promises and impressive pedigrees are no substitute for technology that actually works, and that sometimes the most memorable products are the ones that fail in the most spectacular and entertaining ways possible.